All right, so everybody's probably wondering what's going on. We've got, dude, gold dumped out, silver dumped out. I'll tell you why that's happening. Bitcoin is pumping. I'll also tell you why that is happening. The S&P is staying pretty friggin' stagnant, and I'll also tell you why that's happening. All of these markets, whether you want to admit it or not, they all move in conjunction with each other. They are all dependent upon each other. The largest asset in the entire world, a tier one asset, is gold. It has an over 30 trillion, well, had an over $30 trillion market cap, far eclipsing and dwarfing every other asset, including Nvidia, including Amazon, including Facebook. You combine all of those and gold surpasses it by a lot, right? Obviously, it is deemed as currency and a tier one asset now. US dollar has like, I think it's like 22 or 23 trillion dollars is the market cap of the US dollar. That's called the M2 money supply, right? So gold is 50% more at this current price point in value than there is in the entire world of United States dollar, which is the world reserve currency. Kind of makes you wonder, why isn't gold the world reserve currency? I don't know. We'll see here soon. We've got Bitcoin pumping. It just touched 113. We are hitting a pretty key level here that we absolutely have to stay through. This candle, this last hourly candle just blew through everything. If there's anything that you want to drop in the comments section, go ahead and do it, because I am going to take, and tell me if my audio's good, okay? We've had some problems with the audio in the Discord lately for whatever reason. So tell me if my audio is good on this DJI mic or whatever. We'll take it from there. Get your espresso, get your cigars, make yourself a nice little froth. Look at all the creme on that, man. Look at all the creme. You come for the braids, you stay for the trades. We're going to give them to you. We're going to give the people what they want. We're getting a rejection at the 113 level as it sits right now. We'll see how that level holds up. My bias is that the S&P is, it's primed to roll over. It's primed to roll over. That's going to bring down crypto with it if it does, okay? Secondarily, gold is primed to pump back up again. This was very, very routine profit taking. And in fact, I gave out a short at the highs on gold yesterday. I'll show it to you. And we absolutely killed it. We made like 3.5% overnight, literally overnight. Woke up to gains on Monday, woke up to gains on Tuesday. We'll see if we wake up to gains tomorrow after this stuff kind of settles down, settles out. And let's talk about it. So look at Bitcoin, look at Bitcoin, look at Bitcoin. Look at it go, right? Taking out the high. So this high got taken out right here. Then we set a barely higher low, right, than this one. You got to zoom really, really friggin' far in to see that, okay? So let's get this brush stroke off of here. Magnet tool. Horizontal ray tool. Bang, look at that. Look at just barely how much of a higher low we got there. Dude, this is the stuff that matters. Market structure, man, this is the stuff that matters. Pumps you back up. Now you've taken out that previous high, which was right there, right? You came back, tagged it, used it as support, right? You're confirming above it. If you lose this level, it's not really that good, but you could continue pumping up, come down here, and then, start moving back upwards, okay? But you took out this high too, right, with the candle close. Now you got to take out this high. 113.6, man. $113.6. So what's the likelihood that we do that? What's the likelihood that we get an SFP and a rejection up here? I think an SFP and a rejection up here is highly likely. And then if you're going to continue to the upside, you retrace 50 to 61.8% of the measured move, bang, and boom, right? You start pumping back upwards. So let's talk about what we need to see, okay? So over here, I thought there was going to be a head and shoulders. It was forming. Obviously, we blasted straight through it. I'll show you what I thought it was. This right here. I thought there was about to be a head and shoulders pattern coming, and then we were going to get a price target of about 105 on Bitcoin, get an SFP of these lows, maybe rip it back upwards. Man, was I wrong. They said nope. Within literally like an hour of me saying that, they were like, boom, nope, sorry, peace, we out. And if you notice, it's not because the S&P pumped, man. It's not because the S&P pumped. So that one dude that took that $111,000 price point, 10x short for like $200 million, they're underwater right now, but we'll see. So anyways, in any case, this head and shoulders no longer matters. This head and shoulders actually played out perfectly all the way down to the target, right? As you can see, here was your target. Here was where it went. If you just drag it over here to the breakdown point, boom, went down there perfectly. We can delete that head and shoulders as well, okay? Now, we're getting a nice little recovery here, and from a market structure perspective, we're starting to work our way back up. So we got our low here, right? This is just basic market structure. Lower high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, right? And you used that previous low as support here, where you would like to see it using the previous high as support. But you did use the previous high as support here, right? So what we would like to see is use that previous high right here at about 111.7 as support. And you would like to see this pump up past here and then kind of come back down, right? But as it sits right now, if you just draw a fib on this, let's get all this market structure stuff off of here first. If you draw a fib from here to here, right, you're looking at 109.6 to 110.3. But what do we know about that 110.3 area? That's a pivot point, right? That's a pivot point that we all know of right here, right about 109.5 to 110.3. That's a nice little pivot point, little range, as you can see. So if you lose that again, you're probably heading down, right? And this is what we were talking about yesterday. If we can't hold that level and keep it, and Bitcoin's tending to do whatever Bitcoin wants to do right now. Like, it is just kind of ripping whichever way that it deems necessary. And that's what's happening. But well, actually, let me see something really quick. I want to look at the crypto bubbles. Woo! Look at Co-AI. What is that? Damn, Daniel. I'm not playing music anymore because they keep copywriting and demonetizing my videos every time I play that friggin' music. And I don't care about the monetization. I make like 2 cents off of each video from like an advertising perspective. I care about if you get copyrighted, they'll like suppress your video in the algorithm. So even if it's a really good algorithm, or even if it's a really good video, if you get copyrighted, they suppress it in the algorithm, right? So, man, I mean, look at this, dude. Look at this. Everybody's out here just having a good time right now. And, you know, we definitely had a damn day.
Damn, Daniel, back at it again with the white vans. Spicy, man. Damn, Daniel.
Spicy, man. Spicy gains, right? Now, if you want to know why this kind of happened, all right, we can look right down here. And as you can see, I mean, this is something that I teach a lot. I even have this inside of the VIP. I have this called VIP training, right? It's got about 26 lessons in it. I just put all of this in here today because obviously this is like a free, it's not a free mini course because obviously people are paying to be in this like for $29 a month. But if you want to know what's going on with swing highs, swing lows, basic market structure, and swing failure patterns, I have trainings on all of that inside of here, right? I even have trainings on market structure down here that just gives you like a basic high level understanding of market structure, right? Here's, you know, market structure, change of character. Here's what a break of market structure looks like. Here's what a market structure shift looks like. Order block, breaker block, stuff like that. And you can come in here and you can take this like 26 and it'll be more lessons to come in the future. Obviously, I'll keep adding to it. But you can go in there and take that. I mean, you have access to it for $29 a month. And it tells you everything that I look for in my trades and in my analysis videos that are inside of my analysis sections where I'm giving out trades inside of Nordic Alpha. Trades like this that we absolutely killed it on, right? I'll show you. Trades like this where we went in and absolutely just crushed it, murdered it. Bang, all the way up. Perfect entry, perfect exit, almost no drawdown at all. Made 3.78%. And then guess what we did? You guessed it. Bang, baby. Bang. We shorted that bad boy all the friggin' way back down and said, boom, 4.09%. You made almost 8% in Nordic Alpha in 2 days trading friggin' gold, man. Trading gold, and that's on zero leverage. If you leveraged, you could have made 40%, or 80%, right? Because we made 4% on the way up, 4% on the way down. Absolutely insane trades. We absolutely crushed this. I mean, look at the risk to reward on this thing. The risk to reward is infinite, 18,000, because our stop loss was like so friggin' tight on this. Now, you might be wondering, why is gold bouncing here, right? Well, 0.618 retrace from, you guessed it, the last major pullback point, right? And then you retraced the entire move on this pullback right here where we set new all-time high. Got a decent little pullback. It wasn't big. Like, this was a big pullback. This went from $4,060 all the way down to $3,950. I mean, this one went from $4,180 down to $4,100. So it was a little bit less of a pullback. You retrace that entire move. You swing failed the lows right here. As you can see, you swing failed the lows, bounced from the 0.618, and now you're longing again. So anybody that's like, oh, it's over, gold's over, oh, da, 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 you might want to watch out, right? You might want to watch out. Now, I will say, Bitcoin is looking strong here. If we get, whoops, what just happened? If we get above this level, this is looking extremely strong for Bitcoin. Okay, I won't say extremely strong. I will say this is looking decent, okay? Now, I can't give you the trades on this because that's not fair to the people in Nordic Alpha that I give the trades to, right? But I can show you like the trades that we just took and tell you, hey, if you want these types of trades, you know, get into Nordic Alpha because that's where I'm giving them out. Same thing with silver, right? We literally give out silver trades. We literally give out S&P trades. We give out Bitcoin trades every single friggin' day. And if you want to see that 88% win rate in work, anytime, anywhere, every single day, go ahead and get into the Nordic Alpha private VIP trading room. And you can see this in action in real time every single friggin' day, right? This right here. 88% win rate, absolutely insane win rate. If you would have just taken my gold trades over the past year, you would have made over 118%. Absolutely insane. Could have made 230% if you took all the trades, Bitcoin, gold, silver, whatever. And these are just the publicly documented trades, right? That doesn't even account for all the trades that I put in here that admittedly, they're all behind a gated paywall. So I can't like publicly show them because you would have to pay money to see those trades, and it's not really fair to count those, but I can have the same exact type of win rate in here, just on a lot more trades, right? So let's get into the analysis. Does anybody have anything? Drop it in the comments section below. If there's a asset that you want me to do TA on, I'll be more than happy to do it. Otherwise, we're just going to keep cooking on BTC, okay? Here's the other thing that you need to take into account, okay? Although we are super happy that we are up here at 113, all right? Here's what you need to take into account, all right? Go to the daily chart. Go to the daily chart and realize that from a market structure perspective, you are still setting a lower high if you are here, okay? We'll take all of these off. From a market structure perspective, you are still in a downtrend. This is your high, low, right? And actually, I don't count that as the low because that's just a ridiculous, crazy wick. So here's your high, call it like this. Here's your candle close high. Here's your candle close low. Here's your candle close new, lower high. Here's your candle close new, lower low. Here's your candle close high. Are you going to get another lower low candle close down here? It's very likely. This is your market structure, okay? This is your market structure, right? This is your lower high, right? Lower low confirms a market structure shift, lower high, and this would be break of structure to the downside, right? So we'll see what happens there. The other thing that you absolutely 100% need to take into account is this head and shoulders is still in play. I don't care what anybody says. This head and shoulders is still in play. It does not matter. Your feelings are irrelevant in this, okay? Your feelings are irrelevant. This is technical analysis, and this is technical analysis at its best, okay? So here you go. We broke down from it. We can still come back up, retest it, and be shorting, right? If we break down from this $109,000, call it $110,000 level, you are looking to short here, okay? You are looking to short here. I didn't like this shoulder right here because it was so ununiform comparatively to this shoulder. I don't like this head and shoulders that much, but it is a thing that you need to look at. Now, we are retesting the rising wedge as it sits right damn now. Right damn now, right? You can even make this rising wedge a little bit more, whatever. Give me a second. Say it's right here. Boom. And as you can see, we are testing the rising wedge as it sits right now. Now, this is the one thing about charting patterns that I teach inside of the foundation. They can move. They can move. They will move the needle on you, okay? Just like that head and shoulders looks different today after the previous subsequent days, right? The rising wedge is now looking a little bit different because we now have new market data that we can pull from it. We pull it from these exact and actual lows, right? Which we weren't doing at first. And you pull it to these lows, bang, bang, bang. You are testing it. You have to see what happens here. We've been talking about this rising wedge for a very long time. This is an extremely bearish pattern that could bring you down to $95,000 by mid-November if you get a rejection here. If you don't get a rejection here, this is really good news for Bitcoin, okay? There's two things that can happen here. One, I'll show you. I can't show you the Nordic Alpha trades. I'll show you here. One, you reclaim this level, okay? And I'll give you the parameters behind it here in just a second. You reclaim this level, you're looking for new all-time highs, baby. That's what it is. That's just what it is. You reclaim this level, you back test it, and I'll give you the parameters here in just a second, okay? Now, secondarily, this is 1021. And secondarily, you lose this level, AKA, you've already lost it. You get a rejection at this level. You are absolutely shorting. Your stop loss is above these highs, right? Very simple. You're shorting all the way down here. Quick little 7x risk to reward ratio. Short, back test, rejection, rising wedge, baby, and the 50 moving average, 50 and 100 MA, because you can still go up to the 100 MA and still reject. Possible swing failure pattern at the top. Okay, so let me give you the parameters for the short, okay? Because you know that's how I like to do things. And we got 10 minutes left. I'm going to go ahead and just rip through this. We'll get to some altcoins here in a second. We'll talk about gold. We'll talk about silver. We'll talk about the S&P if we can. But this is what we're looking at right now, okay? So as it sits, if we get a rejection right here, and it doesn't have to be today. You could get a rejection here at 113.8. You could get a rejection the next day on Thursday at 114. Like, it doesn't have to be right here. If you get a rejection here, though, you have to start thinking about, okay, if we reject from the 50 moving average, which is this blue line right here, right? And if we reject from the 100 moving average, once it gets over here, right? This could happen anytime below this line, right? Anytime below this line. If we reject from here, you got to start thinking about shorting down here to these targets you know, anywhere in the, call it $94,000 range to about $96,000 to $97,000 range. And if you look, I mean, that's going to line up with these previous lows. You're going to take those out. It lines up with these previous highs, this previous consolidation range. Like, there's a lot of levels lining up here to the downside. But I want to give you the parameters for the upside too, right? So this is what needs to happen for the upside. I got to get my magnet tool off. Give me 1 second, because it doesn't let me draw the way that I want to with my magnet tool on. You got to come up here and take out this high right here at, call it 116. You have to close a daily candle above 116, right? And it would be better if you closed a daily candle a little bit higher, more like 117, 118. Then you come back and you back test this and the 50 moving average, and you bounce, and that's where you're looking to bring it up to new all-time highs, right? And obviously this is going to be your resistance right here is the previous all-time high, right? So let me go ahead and play that out for you, right? Gain, new high, no SFP, no bear div, or we can't say no bear div because we do kind of want a bearish divergence up here so that we can pull back to this level. We just don't want a massive bearish divergence. Okay, no massive bear div, okay? Bounce, rising wedge, 50 or 100 MA. Bang, that's it. That's all we want to see. We want to long this rising wedge. If we get back inside of it, boom, we set a new high. We come back, we back test this. The 50 intersects, the 100 intersects. We bounce, we go long. We don't get any swing failure pattern up here. We get a slight bearish divergence. What do I mean by slight bearish divergence? I mean, if we want to see a bearish divergence, I would like to see something like this, okay? We really need to get this RSI way, way, way up here, right? And just get the slightest bearish divergence, a nice pullback, boom, blast off, right? So you want to see that being your bearish divergence. You want to see a new high here, candle close, no SFP, slight bearish divergence, okay? Slight bearish divergence. If there's no bearish divergence, that's even better. I just don't think there's just no way that this RSI is going to make its way all the way up to 73 in the time that it takes us to get here, right? To get up here. It's such a small move that is the RSI going to move 35 points? Probably not. So that's why I'm saying slight bear div. Slight bear div is okay. Okay, slight bear div. We'll just say slight. Small bear div is okay. Boom. That is what I'm seeing inside of Bitcoin right now. That is what you need to be paying attention to right here. First off, you need to be paying attention to the 113.6 level. Secondarily, you need to be paying attention to 116. You got to crack that. You have to crack 116. Anybody that's in here, we got 30 people on Twitter. We've got 8 people on YouTube. If you want me to do technical analysis on anything, drop it in the comments section right now. Otherwise, I'm going to flip over to gold real quick. We'll look at a couple of altcoins and we'll see what's happening there. But I'm going to flip over to gold while I allow people that, kind of time to think about what they want me to do technical analysis on, and we'll tell you what's going on in gold. Remember, gold is the biggest market in the entire world. 30 trillion, okay? Maybe not 30 trillion now, maybe it's 29, but you get where I'm going with it. Like, it was over 30 trillion up here. It was like 30.2 trillion. Take 3% off of that, you got 28.5, right? Something like that. Take 3 to 5% off, you got 28.5. Now, this market is going to move other markets, okay? And you just got a 0.618 retrace, and you're getting a bounce from it right now. Is this bounce going to play out, right? Is this bounce going to play out? We don't know yet, okay? Now, I want to try and see if I can get my stop loss up. So last week, just this week, Monday and Tuesday, we took 2 incredibly profitable trades on gold. We longed gold here, bang, full take profit, took 4% on the move up. If you just went long, you made 4% on gain on your portfolio in one day. Then as soon as we got up here, guess what we did? SFP, very, very slight SFP, hidden, or this was a bearish divergence, boom, blasted downwards. We flipped short right here. That is the wrong short. I am the worst streamer in the entire industry. Bang. And we took it all the way down here to the 0.382, these previous lows. We started to think we were going to swing fail here, right? So we took our profits and then it just dumped out again, 0.618 retrace, boom. This is where gold starts to bounce, but you have to regain 41.63 right here, which is the 0.5 fib level. That's equilibrium price on this move upwards. And secondarily, you got to get back above this 200 moving average on the hourly chart. You've got 41.71. Once you get up to 41.75, you're looking a lot better, right? Secondarily, 41.75 is the 50 moving average on the 4-hour chart. And I bet you it's the 9 moving average. Yep. On the daily chart. From a daily time frame perspective, we are still very bullish, right? From a 4-hour time frame perspective, we are still very bullish. This is our first lower low. If we don't get a lower high here, we're not getting a market structure shift to the downside. This is a change of character right here, but we would need to see something like this happen, right? We would need to see something like this happen. We would need to retrace up here to about 42.30 to 42.65, rejection, move downwards. And then you could start thinking about coming down here to about $4,000, maybe even $39.50, right? And that's where the 200 on the 4-hour, 200 moving average on the 4-hour chart is going to start intersecting, okay? So I would like to see this bounce here from gold. We'll see what happens. We've got economic data coming up. We have the FOMC meeting next week, right? And a lot of economic data has been postponed due to the government shutdown. There is going to be, once the government reopens, there's going to be a flood of economic data that is absolutely going to move the markets. Whether you believe it or not is irrelevant, because it will, because it's going to be a flood of data that comes in. Okay, secondarily, same thing here with silver. We need to get back up here towards this $49.50 level, okay? Now, if we set a lower high here, which we very well could, because look at this. Look at how far this moved down. A lower high would be somewhere in the $50.87 range, and it gets us right back into what is now a supply zone. This was a supply zone here, here, and here. Then it turned to a demand zone, demand zone, demand zone, demand zone, blasted through it as a demand zone, and now it is going to be a supply zone, okay? So that is something you need to take into account on silver. You really got to regain that $51 level in order for it to start looking bullish, because now you have death crosses happening on the 1-hour chart. Let's see what's happening on the 4-hour. No death crosses yet. You're bouncing. You're trying to get back above the 100. You really just need to get back above 49.50 bucks to get silver back in a bullish pattern. Now, the S&P, it does not have moving power upwards right now. So I'm seeing, let's see if we have a bearish divergence here. There's no bearish divergence here yet, okay? So, I mean, we'll see if we get a subsequent rejection at these highs. Right up here at the all-time high, $6,813-ish, something like that. This is on futures, by the way. Watch out. If this thing gets a rejection here and then it moves downwards, man, it's going to be really bad and it's going to look real ugly for the S&P. But I could definitely see it coming down here to the equilibrium price at about 50% of this move back upwards and bouncing from the 200 moving average at about 66.80 to then start doing a leg up. And then you'll see if you get a swing failure pattern, bearish divergence up here at the all-time highs. Okay, so Bitcoin is trying to make its move up. 113, where's it at? 113.4. Okay, so I mean, we got to watch what's going to be happening here. We got to watch what's going to happen right here at this wedge, this rising wedge pattern. Okay, period. It doesn't matter what your thoughts are. It doesn't matter how, you know, how much you don't like to hear it, right? You got to watch what happens here, because this could be the big move down. This could be the big move down, but it could also be the big move up, okay? Because this is an integral level. You're getting squeezed in between moving averages now. This is where big moves have to happen, especially on longer term time frames like the daily chart. Let's go look at ETH. Okay, so it looks like we never got our, on 1017, we said, hey, if we come down here and we swing fail these lows and we bounce from the 200 moving average, which we didn't, unfortunately, we never got our long on ETH. It just is what it is, right? Let's see, break market structure to the upside. If we can come up here and break market structure to the upside, this is where we want to be, okay? So what do I mean by that? This was your high, low, right? Lower high. Now we have a higher low, change of character, right? If we come up here, we smash this market structure shift. This is a higher high after a higher low. We look for the retracement, bang, bang, boom, and that gets us above the value area high right here. And that's when we can start thinking about longs, right? So that's kind of what I'm looking for right now on ETH. I would like to see a break up above this prior swing point at, call it $4,300. You get a candle close on a daily basis up above that, you'll be looking good. Now, if you do get a rejection up here, this is where you have to short, and you're looking to short at least down to the 200 moving average, $3,216, all the way down to potentially $2,500, which is the point of control. Not saying we'll get all the way down there, but if Bitcoin moves down to $94,000, you could definitely see, you know, ETH moving down to, you know, 3K for sure. 100% you could see that. And once you get under this 200 moving average on the daily chart, it gets real nasty for these altcoins. Okay, let's look at Avalanche. Okay, so Avalanche, we still have not gotten our entry. I would like to see if this happens. Right now we're at about 21 bucks. If Bitcoin moves down to $97,000, it's not hard to fathom that we could get under this $15.61 level and start thinking about this short right here, okay? Now, secondarily, this is a wedge, or not a wedge pattern, sorry. This is a descending triangle, and these things tend to break down. So that's why I'm saying you break under this level right here, this $15.61 level, you got to think about starting to short down here to about $8 or $9, and at the very least, down to about 11 bucks, right? So you're going to see about a 30% shed. If you miss out on that, I don't know what to tell you because I'm giving you the trades out in like ahead of time. Let's look at XRP. Yeah, so XRP's getting a rejection again at that 0.618. It's getting another rejection at that 0.618. You've got a lower low here, right? Because this was your low. This is your new lower low. If you stop here, you've got a lower high. Bang, you could be coming right down here to about 2 bucks, okay? So you got to watch what happens here at the 200 moving average at $2.60 and the 0.618, $2.58. So call it 268 or $2.60. You get a rejection here. You are looking to short, okay? You are looking to short once you get below the $2 range, okay? You're looking to short once you get a close below the 0.786, and you're looking to short if you get a rejection here, possible swing failure pattern, right? And a 200 moving average rejection, okay? Now, this is your long. Once you get down here, you got to see what's happening with the markets, right? But this is kind of your line in the sand. This is the value area low of this absolutely parabolic move upwards, right? To these new all-time highs, right? And so what you got to think about is if we get down here, are we going to bounce or are we going to lose it? And if we lose it, are we going to come all the way down here to the 80-cent range? And probably not, but you could come down to one of these consolidation ranges right here. Bang, bang, somewhere in the $1 to 6 cent to $1.50 range. Definitely you could come down here to $1.75, right? So you got to watch out what's happening with XRP. Let's look at Cardano really quick. Where's Cardano? I got to type it in. Woo, our Cardano chart looks absolutely wild as AF, right? So this head and shoulders is not going to play out. That is dead, right? You got your short, okay? You got your short way over here. You bounced from it. Now you got your short right here, right? We called this out a very, very, very long time ago. We said, look, you lose these moving averages right here, this 100. You are going to be shorting down to here. You didn't get your full take profit. I totally get that. But if you came within 5 cents of your take profit and you didn't take it, you're an idiot. I don't know what to tell you. We gave this short out long time ago. Rejected from the downward sloping trend line. Bang, 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 right? And as you can see, rejected from it from right here, right? Then secondarily, this is your upward trajectory. This could be a rejection point right up here, 95 cents, okay? Now, if you get all the way down here, that's where you got to start thinking about, okay, rejection, let's say. We're just going to take this one off the chart because this one doesn't matter anymore. What we're going to do is we're going to move this over to the 200 moving average and then short it down here. Short, what is it, 1021? Short, 200 MA, rejection, bang. See what our other shorts did? Yeah, you did get that short too. Okay, cool, don't care. You can long once you get above this level, okay? Once you get above this level, start thinking about longs, right? And there's one more long right here, which is once you get above this level right here, right? But again, you're just in a downward literal, just like, look at this thing, man. You're literally just in a descending triangle. That's all it is. You're just in a descending triangle, right? So as it sits, let me see. Is this it? No, that's not it. We can delete that. Let's delete some of this BS off of our charts. Dude, we have so much on Cardano. Oh my gosh, look at all this. I'm not going through all that stuff live on stream. That's ridiculous. It's way too much stuff. Once you get up above this, you can start thinking about longing too. Okay, so long, upper resistance, gain, and that's going to get you above the 200, the 50, and the 100 moving average. So as it sits right now, I'd be also looking to long down here, right? And this is, again, if parameters are met, right? You have to get a bounce from here, right? You have to get a bounce from here. Long that bounce, okay, up to that resistance, okay? So 10, long, descending triangle, okay? And then subsequently, this is the other bad thing that a lot of people aren't going to want to hear, right? Once you get below this, you got to short down to about here or here, okay? So once you get below that, that descending triangle is definitely playing out, okay? So let me delete some of this stuff over here. Bang. Dude, I'm just going to start deleting stuff. This is crazy. Where's the macro bear flag? Yeah. Yeah, all this stuff is so old, it doesn't even matter. This was before I got super, like, yeah. That bull flag is dead. That bear flag is dead. Dead. Head and shoulders guaranteed is dead. Horizontal ray, trend line, bang. This is the descending triangle. 1 day descending triangle. Okay. Now, this is where you got to start thinking about shorts, though, right? 1021. Short, descending triangle, loss. Okay. And you're going to set your stop loss way, way, way tight on this. Okay. Set it above these previous lows. You can be right here if you want, or you can short it down to about 33 cents, which is going to be the floor on Cardano. So really, this is going to be a pivotal area and pivotal level, 55 cents, 56 cents. Okay. So I don't see anybody putting anything in the chat that they want me to look at. So we've kind of cooked through, you know, the top altcoins, and we've definitely cooked through Bitcoin, USDT. Let's see what happens here, man. Let's see what happens here. You know, we got to see what happens here, because whenever that is not the right one. I got to get this off of here. Where's the perps? Right here. Bang. As you can see, we are testing it right now. Let's see where we get a close on this daily candle, and we can kind of take it from there. Now, the one thing I do want to say, though, is if you want this analysis every single day, seriously, I can't stress to you enough. This is my only call to action other than like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on Twitter. This is it. Get into the Nordic Alpha private VIP trading room. It's $29 a month. It's less than $1 a day. Try it out for a month. If you get in there and you're like, dude, Drew's a liar. He doesn't call out any trades, even though I show them all to you in real time after we've won on them, right? I don't know what to tell you. If you're not in there and you're relying on my streams, you are leaving so much money on the table. You are going to make way more than $29 if you take one trade. Dude, just the 2 gold trades themselves would have probably added 8% to your portfolio if you just took them on spot, man, with 0 leverage, okay? So with all that being said, we trade Bitcoin, we trade perps, we trade equities, man. We trade gold and silver. We trade commodities. We trade Forex. We scalp. We swing. We day trade. We do all of it inside of there. And I train you and give you trainings inside of there, dude. It's worth the price of admission. If you don't want to get in there, I don't know what to tell you. If you show up to this stream, but you don't want to be a part of that community, that's really odd to me. Because I would think that anybody that's on this stream would want actionable insights on a daily basis. So I'm offering them out to you. Get in there before the price rises, seriously, because once we get like over 100 people in there, I'm going to raise the price. I can promise you that. So if you want to lock in that $29 price, go ahead and do it. Go check your favorite YouTubers. Every single one of them charge $100 a month. Okay. I'm not doing that because I'm trying to give people actionable insights, prove it to them first and foremost, but get into the Nordic Alpha private VIP trading room and I will see you in there. I appreciate you so much. I will see you in the next video. Pay attention because I will be streaming a lot more. Peace.